A young woman strolls through the forest, tracing a path defined by a string. Her steps quicken as unfamiliar sounds echo through the trees, stirring a sense of unease within her. As she reaches the culmination of her journey, an aged dwelling emerges from the foliage. Stepping inside, her eyes widen in astonishment as her boyfriend emerges, holding out a heart-shaped necklace, a thoughtful gesture for her impending 18th birthday. As Laurel's father arrives to escort her home, tensions escalate between them regarding her desire to marry her boyfriend. Abruptly, her father offers an apology, placing his hand atop a Bible before careening the vehicle recklessly. Laurel grapples with her father's erratic driving, eventually seizing control to halt the car, only to be met with a devastating collision with a semi-truck. In the aftermath, injured and vulnerable, her father repeatedly insists he cannot allow her to reach her 18th birthday. In the present time, a young girl enters a bathroom to discover her mother kneeling on the floor, immersed in prayer. Desperately, her mother implores Molly to join her in prayer, persisting until Molly reluctantly agrees. As they kneel together, Molly's mother lifts a pair of scissors, posed ominously. Yet, just before they can inflict harm, Molly jolts awake, escaping the chilling nightmare. During breakfast, Molly engages her father in conversation about her enrollment in a new preparatory school, all the while expressing concern over her mother's absence. At school, Molly has a meeting with the new principal, who informs her about an upcoming appointment with the counselor. However, Molly notices that her records are sealed, sparking her curiosity. Throughout the day, she is guided to her classes by Alexis. During lunch, Molly's senses heighten, and she rushes to the bathroom where she experiences nosebleed amidst a flurry of unsettling noises, triggering a panic attack. Molly decides to skip her counseling session, opting instead to wander outside the school premises. Joseph Young, whom she met earlier, encounters her and offers a ride, though Molly declines. During dinner at home, a somber atmosphere surrounds Molly as she and her father share their respective days. Molly expresses her concerns about her mother's ability to be released from a psychiatric hospital, casting a shadow over their conversation. She excuses herself to attend to her homework, but later, in the depths of the night, she is haunted by yet another nightmare depicting her mother's terrifying attempt on her life. In a later class session, the students are handed Bibles as they delve into the study of Paradise Lost, intended to deepen their comprehension of the narrative. Alexis, already equipped with her own Bible, engages in a heated debate with the teacher regarding the use of religious texts in the classroom. Suddenly, Molly's nose begins to bleed once more, prompting the teacher to excuse her to address the issue. In the bathroom, Molly experiences another distressing episode, only to be discovered by Alexis, who offers her assistance along with a spare shirt. During her session with the counselor, Molly reluctantly broaches the topic of her mother's condition and the traumatic event of her stabbing. Despite the counselor's efforts, Molly's engagement in the session remains distant, leading her to abruptly depart. Exiting the office, Molly notices the same girl from the bathroom now waiting for her own session with the counselor. In the library later on, Joseph discovers Molly engrossed in reading about her mother's mental condition. He extends another offer for a ride, which Molly hesitantly accepts. As they traverse the halls, Molly's father unexpectedly appears, sensing her distress and pressing for an explanation. Overwhelmed, Molly retreats outside, where she discovers a visitor's pass for the hospital where her mother is confined. Left behind in her father's car, as night falls and Molly prepares for bed, the sound of running water draws her to the bathroom. Upon attempting to turn off the faucet, the door violently slams shut, locking her inside. Panic sets in as she desperately cries out for her father, but the door remains unyielding to their efforts to open it. Overcome with fear, Molly loses consciousness. Regaining consciousness in the hospital, Molly receives the unsettling news that doctors discovered a tumor in her nasal cavity near her brain, a potential explanation for her troubling symptoms. In a subsequent visit, Alexis checks in on Molly, inquiring about her spiritual beliefs and sharing details about a relative who works as a nurse. She presents Molly with a teen devotional Bible, but Molly quickly stashes it away in a drawer, seemingly uninterested. Upon returning to school, Joseph confronts Molly, inviting her to attend a party. As he departs, Susie takes the opportunity to hassle Molly until Leah intervenes, diffusing the situation. Empathizing with Molly, Leah opts to accompany her to the party. Molly devises a cover story for her father, informing him she be attending a study group and may return home late, with strict instructions to keep her phone handy. At the party, Molly and Leah part ways, with Molly gravitating towards Joseph for dancing and socializing. However, their interaction is interrupted when Joseph departs to address an issue, leaving Molly vulnerable to Susie's provocation. Their altercation escalates, culminating in Molly inadvertently causing Susie to break her arm. When Leah refuses to leave the party and assist her, Molly decides to make her own way home. However, her journey becomes increasingly fraught when her cell phone malfunctions. Seeking refuge at a payphone, she contacts her father for assistance. As Molly's anxiety mounts, she begins to hallucinate her mother's presence, plagued by her haunting words. Fleeing from the apparition, Molly is startled to witness her mother vanish into thin air. Relief washes over Molly as her father arrives to collect her. Molly attempts to extend an apology to Susie for their earlier altercation, but Susie rebuffs her efforts. Cryptic Joseph intervenes, seeking to understand the situation. However, overwhelmed by emotions, Molly flees from the confrontation, unable to confront the turmoil brewing within her. At home, as her mother materializes once more, this time wielding a blade, her mother delivers a chilling revelation, claiming that Molly's life was negotiated with a sinister entity upon her birth. According to her mother's distorted account, Molly was essentially traded for her life, down to her parents until her 18th birthday. In a harrowing confrontation that ensues, Molly grapples with her mother throughout the house, the tension escalating to a breaking point. In a moment of self-defense, Molly pushes her mother away, inadvertently causing her to plummet over the staircase to her demise. As Molly's father arrives on the scene, attempting to dismiss her mother's sinister claims, Molly's world spirals further into chaos. Fueled by fear and confusion, Molly lashes out, striking her father before fleeing from the tumultuous scene. Seeking refuge and guidance, Molly seeks out Alexis at a Christian center, pleading for assistance, claiming that time is running out as her 18th birthday looms on the horizon. Moved by Molly's desperation, Alexis agrees to help and takes her to a church with the intention of performing a baptism. However, during the ceremony, the situation takes a horrifying turn when Alexis reveals she has been informed of Molly's unsettling past and attempts to drown her in the baptismal waters. A struggle ensues, resulting in Alexis accidentally hitting her head and succumbing to the depths. Molly flees from the scene and encounters Joseph, who extends an offer to escape with him. Accepting his proposition, she finds herself at his house, attempting to contact her counselor to no avail. Inside, Joseph presents her with a birthday cake and a knife, unsettling Molly as she pleads to depart. In a twist of fate, the counselor arrives unexpectedly, revealing she never received Molly's message. Molly learns that her counselor was the one who made the pact with her parents. The counselor insists that Molly is destined for great power, referring to her as the One. However, Molly adamantly refuses, expressing her unwillingness to accept such a role or the power associated with it. Molly was given a shank so she can shank her dad, but she refused and shanks herself instead before it was 12, and she was forgiven, so she refused the offer. At a mental hospital, Molly discusses her father's state with a doctor, expressing her desire to keep her distance from him. During her graduation, Molly delivers a valedictorian speech before departing with Joseph in a car. As they drive away, the counselor bids Molly farewell, offering her good luck for the journey ahead.